Yeah? Okay. All right, let's talk Instagram before my time runs out, and then I didn't help you guys with anything. All right, so why does Instagram matter? First of all, who's on Instagram? Who's using it for brands? All right, cool. You guys will actually give a crap about what I'm going to say today then. So why does Instagram matter? Well, a mere 400 million people are using it, so clearly kind of matters. 30 billion photos have been shared. Here's just some fun stats to get us started. You guys are using it. I'm sure everyone's relatively familiar with what's going on Instagram right now. Well, some of the stuff that I love, we all talk Facebook. We all talk you have to be on Facebook and utilizing Facebook. But Instagram actually gets more than 58 times higher engagement than Facebook. So it's somewhere that you really need to be considering and really need to be putting strategy behind. So here's just to show you, again, kind of what Hope said, and just touting Choose Chicago. Why am I here talking to you guys? I've actually run a very successful Instagram, so I know a thing or two. So I'm not just one of those fancy people who talks just 'cause. So over 14,000% growth in about 19 months. So we're going to talk about how the heck that happened. So strategy, back to that word. It's one of my favorite words, dealing with all social media. And I always say, and you guys will absolutely learn that I'm incredibly cheesy, I always say that Instagram is not an if you build it, they will come platform. Any other Field of Dreams fans? Okay. So it's just not. It's not something where you can just throw out photos and hope for the best, toss out a hashtag and hope a whole bunch of new visitors and customers will come and see you. It's extremely important to have strategy. So time to roll up those sleeves, and what should you include in your strategy? These next slides are all different aspects of things that should be in your strategy, things you should start to think about and scale for your specific brand. Obviously, most obvious one is content. All right, so content, photos, it's Instagram. You gotta have a photo. So quality photos. You need to be posting regularly. A lot of people ask, well, what if I don't have enough pictures? Can I get away posting once a week? Can I post every few days? No, you have to be posting regularly. You can post daily. You can post 3 to 5 times a day. The larger that your brand gets, you really need to kind of understand what your account, who your account audience is, how often they want to see it, and again, the quality of content. And I'll step back, quality of content. A lot of you, someone in here is thinking, well, she's running Chicago. It's pretty easy to get content. Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie. It might be a little bit harder if you have a vacuum cleaner. Making a vacuum cleaner as amazing looking as the city of Chicago at our skyline might be slightly harder. But that's when it comes to getting creative. Figure out how to make that vacuum sexy. Someone said, how do you make unsexy things sexy? Figure out how to make it interesting. Figure out how to use a picture that tells a story. Something that intrigues people and gets them thinking. So again, back to posting regularly. Consistency of your style. Making sure that you're giving people something that they expect. Giving them content that has some consistency to it. You don't want to post 5 quotes and then all of a sudden throw in some random, photo here, and then all of a sudden, you just need consistency. You don't want to give people things that they're not looking for. User-generated content. That's one of the biggest things that you guys can utilize as a brand is user-generated content. Let your customers know that you're paying attention, that they like your brands. Share their stuff. Find their content. Encourage them to share that content. Use those captions to tell stories. A caption doesn't have to be 140 characters. This isn't Twitter. We're able to actually use that caption as almost a blog space. A lot of people will write such long captions that it looks like they're blogging. It's an amazing platform for that. Switch it up. Do some short captions, do some long captions. So really start to think about what you have to tell people. Other easy content, obviously, is your contest, your giveaways, discounts, things of that nature. That's always good to get people kind of excited and engaged and kind of get yourself a little boost. Videos everywhere else seem to get the most views and the most engagement. On Instagram, they actually get less, but there still is a lot of value to them if you're trying to get that story out and get some content out. So I suggest, sharing them every now and again if you have interesting video content. And then also, of course, geotagging your photo. Next is hashtags. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, and I've gotten in a couple arguments about hashtags because I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I don't want to use hashtags, they're ugly, this doesn't look good. You have to kind of come back, step back, and think strategy. Why do brands need to use hashtags? Because you get found. That's how people are finding you. That's how you're joining conversations, so that's why you use them. Instagram gives you the ability to use 30 hashtags. How many of those should you use? Is there a magic number? Absolutely not. The magic number is how many are relevant to that specific brand and to that specific photo. So for Choose Chicago, I have a cheesy little graphic at the bottom that shows I can literally use 30 hashtags. These are all relevant to us. If you have, let's say, a food brand, there might be 20 very, very relevant hashtags. And you find those by figuring out who are your customers engaging with? What are they using? What are your customers using? What are other brands using that are doing well on Instagram? You know, social media in general, we all know, is not reinventing the wheel. It's about how crafty you can get and seeing what others are doing as well. So just do some research. Test them out. See what's getting used frequently. See what kind of helps you pick up your engagement. Now, when I say relevant, and I'll say relevant a bunch of times, don't use things like hashtag like for like or follow for follow. Don't use those like fluff hashtags to fill out your 30. Now going back to what I said, the whole ugly hashtag thing, and I always hear this, and I was just in a Twitter chat this week and someone said, I absolutely will not use 30 because it looks ugly. Yeah, it looks ugly if you do it wrong, bottom line. Do not put your 30 hashtags in your caption. Do not do that. If you've done it before, please stop and don't do it anymore. Use 1 to 3 key hashtags in your caption, maybe 5 if you're going a little crazy that day. In your actual caption, immediately afterwards, click the comments and then put the rest of your hashtags there, because that eliminates the ugliness that people keep telling me about. It's all about strategy. Don't not use a hashtag because it's not attractive. That's how you kind of fix that whole issue. Also, a really big thing with hashtags, have a brand hashtag. Have something that you can get people to get involved in. For Choose Chicago, it's My Chicago Picks. Has anyone in this room ever used My Chicago Picks? Thank you. My Chicago Picks. I'm encouraging people to use that. I'm encouraging them to be a part of the story. So that hashtag obviously is in every single photo I post. It's also in, it's in anything from, our skyline to our food to whatever. I'm showing people the importance of this hashtag. And by putting it in as your hashtag that people see over and over again, you're starting to train them that this is something you want them to use. So also, just in terms of statistics, I know everyone loves those, they say that using over 11 will increase your engagement by over 79%. So again, it's back to just using it thoughtfully, being smart about it, doing research. I honestly will do research on hashtags every 2 months maybe, and I'll change hashtags because there's new trends. Also a really nice thing to do in terms of the whole explore on Instagram now, see what's trending. Is anything that you're talking about, is anything that that you're posting on there, does it fit within all of these trends that are going on? I saw somebody the other day who posted a cool photo and they tagged Gilmore Girls. And it was a little relevant, but theirs was at the top in the Gilmore Girls section. Maybe that doesn't make the most sense for most of our brands, but find those things. Find those things where you can jump up at the top of a very particular hashtag, take advantage of it. It's about getting creative. And again, just stay up on top of your hashtags. And again, one last thing, not using all of the hashtags that are relevant to you is like leaving opportunity on the table. I'd say it's like potentially ignoring a customer who's waiting and looking for that vacuum they want to buy or that restaurant they want to visit, but they were looking under Chicago Italian food and you didn't use that for some reason. So make sure that you are not leaving potential customers on the table by ignoring them. So community, it's back to that hashtag thing. Introduce your official hashtag. I did it here in this photo, which I'm sure no one can see. It says tag your photo with My Chicago Picks. So not only are you consistently using it, but you just have to tell people. Get them involved. Let them know why you're using it. Let them know why they're seeing it. You can do it on Instagram. Tell them on Facebook. Tell them on Twitter. It's one of the most important things to do. You have to get people involved. You have to train them. You have to get stuff in front of their face many times. Just like you can tweet them the same thing over and over because only so many people are going to see it. Again, community. Encourage photo sharing. And back to community, it's a really huge thing. The community, if you build a strong one, they're an extension of you. So it's a sales tool for you. That person is word of mouth marketing for you. That person is someone who essentially is working for you for free, and they're amazing. So building that community. Again, encourage photo sharing. Get people excited. Get them to share the message, the same kind of stories that you want to share. Regram those photos. When someone shares a cool brand photo at your restaurant, at your product, share their photos if it's cool and if it's on brand and if they're telling a story that you also want to be told. Have themes. Instagram does a great job at having weekly themes that everyone's a part of. If that's something that you can do for your brand, do it. Encourage people to share, architecture each week, Chicago food each week, whatever it may be. Themes are really good. It's all about getting people excited to be a part of what you're doing consistently. Insta-meets, that's something that's really nice for brands as well. If it's something where you can get everyone gathered at, say, the Sky Deck and have people all talking about, if that's your brand, have everyone talking about that specific brand, taking photos, showing off cool and unique views and opportunities and stories from that, then get them excited about it. And as a brand, Insta-meets, I saw that Career Builder just hosted one back on Worldwide Insta-Meet Day with Iger Chicago. And they did a breakfast thing, but it was a very nice kind of way to infuse themselves into an Insta-Meet and also get mentioned quite a few times. And it was organic. They were just a part of it, which is really nice. Another thing for brands, get involved with existing communities. This was one of the first things first thing I did when I came to Choose. There are so many good Chicago communities here that were already in existence, like Iger Chicago, Shy Texture, World Union. I'm sure some of you have seen them out here. They're all great. My goal was to not knock them all out of the water. My goal was to utilize them, be friends with them. I reached out to all of them, and I essentially kind of offered a hashtag swap. Use our hashtag, we'll use yours. Let's promote each other. Let's have these common goals. And that can be done with you guys. If you have a fitness product, a yoga product, get to know the fitness community. Who can you work with? It's all about who you can work with to amplify your messaging. And don't be selfish. You can give back as well. I think a lot of brands, sometimes it's all about them and they're afraid to kind of open up and to kind of promote others, but it's definitely something that can be done smart. Okay, influencer marketing. Utilizing influencers has been one of the biggest things for Choose Chicago. Does anybody follow us on Instagram? Thank you again. Taking over Choose Chicago. This was something that I started in June of 2014. This is essentially influencer marketing. I work with influencers on a weekly basis to take over our account. Now, when a lot of people think influencers, they think, great, it's someone with 100,000 followers and up, or it's someone with 50,000 followers and up. And that's absolutely not what I was thinking. The biggest thing that you have to do when working with influencers is you find the people that can tell your story through photos, through words. Influencer marketing is absolutely always not the person with the biggest following, because A, is their following real? Sometimes. Is that big following have your entire audience? Maybe, maybe not. You need to find influencers that actually have the captive audience that you want and also can tell the story that you want. So that's extremely important. So taking over Choose Chicago. So that's part of what's kind of helped us grow that 14,000% over the past almost 2 years, 19 months, I think. So a lot of people, how do you find those influencers? To me, I really go about influencers and finding them in kind of a reverse engineered way. I don't just go out, again, and find that person with 500,000 followers and hope he can intrigue my audience. What I do is I look and see who has my audience's attention. So if Chicago people that are traveling here, who are they looking for? I then go and I find all of these influencers that have their attention, so you already have this nice flow, and then you kind of grasp their attention on the way. And then now when working with influencers, a lot of people have asked me, how much money am I spending on influencers? The answer for me is none. Now, influencers, a lot of times it's absolutely necessary to pay them. For Choose, it's worked out really well that I do a lot of different mutually beneficial things, so I haven't had to pay them at this point, but it's something where you really need to figure out what is their goal in doing this, what's your goal in doing this, and make sure it's beneficial for both. Also, in a nice world, you're gonna have a long-term relationship with them. They're an influencer. It's nice to keep them around and not just use them once and toss them out. It's really nice to kind of build that relationship. If they're trying to grow their account, help them with that. If they're trying to get a really cool opportunity, like going to the sky deck and, at sunrise or something of that nature, give that to them. And that's what I've had success with doing, is I found really unique opportunities and utilizing Choose to get those opportunities for our influencers, to make it fun, to make it a really cool community. So another thing is engage. And this goes back to the whole, if you build it, they will come, is bullcrap for social media. Engage. Like, you have to put the effort into it that you want to get out of it. So if someone's talking to you, respond to comments. That's relatively obvious. For me, actually, a lot of times I'll have my influencers that are taking over respond, because they're telling a story, so you want that same kind of feel and that same conversation to kind of go on. You want them to be able to answer why that place made sense to them, why that place was so special for them. But engage. Back to that hashtag that you guys are all gonna create for your brand and have people use. Engage with that. Thank people for using it. Go talk to them. Like the photos, like all of the My Chicago pics. Yes, it can get extremely difficult. We get several hundred a day new ones. Am I perfect at responding to all of them? Absolutely not. I'm a team of one at Choose. But I definitely highly encourage engaging with those people that are supporting you and using your hashtag. Those are people that are possibly, obviously, current locals. It's possibly people who visited here before, which is our demographic, is that potential, that planned visitor, and that person who's already been here. So how are you finding the people to talk to? Obviously hashtags. I keep saying hashtags. Another thing, your followers. Are you guys going through your followers? Although it is tedious on Twitter, on Instagram. It is tedious. I do it all. It's in the, it can be a pain, but are you going through your followers and chatting with them, seeing like who these people are? Are they cool people that you might want to follow, that you could potentially utilize as brand ambassadors and influencers in the future? Also, people that are following and engaging with your competitors. Everyone in here should know your competitors of your major brands. Go see who's following them. Go see who's interacting with them. It's really, again, it's not reworking the wheel. Promote. So how are you gonna promote your Instagram? Obviously, the API is opened, and now you can advertise like crazy on Instagram. For all those of us that don't have a budget, we've not advertised like crazy yet. I haven't got to test it out. I'm super excited too when I have that opportunity. But otherwise, cross-promoting on social channels. That's the most basic thing that you can be doing for all of your social media promotions. Share your Instagram on your Facebook. Share your Instagram on your Twitter. I try to get a little creative with it and not just straight up say, hey, go check out our Instagram. I'll do like tile screenshots like that, and I'll say, here's 12 reasons you should follow us on Instagram. I try to get a little bit more creative to mix it up and actually show people why they should be following us. So that's a good way to cross-promote, obviously. Have it everywhere. All of your social media should be everywhere. Your newsletters, your signatures, wear it on a coat if that's your thing. I mean, it really, really should be everywhere. It should be on collateral that people are passing out. If there's press releases, it should be on there. So make sure it's something that people are really talking about. Here are just some, everyone always asks me apps that I use. So I just did some of my favorites. A new one that a lot of people don't know about is Grids. Is anybody using that in here? It's amazing. It's something that you can actually download on your computer. You can't upload photos. I know I probably broke a heart or two there. But you can literally do all your engaging. You can search hashtags. You can search by location. You can search accounts. And instead of sitting on your phone and going blind because you're staring at like a tiny little phone, you can look at everything like here on your big computer screen, which is really nice. So it's free if you want to do one account, and then I think it's like $5, and then you can add like a ton for like a one time, like $5. Yeah, it's really nice. I like it. In terms of other apps, I use things like Snapseed, Faded, Facetune, ViscoCam, Afterlight, and Retouch are all nice if you're trying to perfect your photo, and let's say you're a one-man team and don't necessarily have a amazing designer like making your Instagram photos for you.